Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're getting into a moment that really did more than just spill some tea. We're talking about the Boston Tea Party.
Yeah, it sounds almost quaint, doesn't it? Tea Party. But it was anything but.
Exactly. This wasn't, a minor historical footnote. It was this incredibly dramatic act of defiance. Really lit the fuse for the American Revolution.
Mm.
So our mission today is to unpack the real reasons behind it. Look at how it actually went down, some surprising details there, and understand its lasting impact for you.
And I think it's important to remember, this isn't just dry history. It's a powerful lesson. Collective action, fighting for self-determination. Its echoes are still felt.
Okay, so let's set the scene properly. For anyone maybe not super familiar, what was the Boston Tea Party at its core?
Fundamentally, it was a political protest. Happened December 16th, 1773. Right there in Boston Harbor.
A protest against what specifically?
Good
Leads to the Tea Act, right?
Precisely. The Tea Act of 1773. The British government basically imposed taxes through this act, and that's where you get that famous cry, "No taxation without representation."
Because the colonists felt they were being taxed without any say. Yeah.
Yeah.
No voice in the British Parliament making these laws.
Exactly. It felt like a fundamental violation of their rights they believed they had as Englishmen.
So why tea? Why did tea become the sort of symbol?
Well, the act itself did something specific with tea, but the protest, it was dramatic. You had about 60 men, these Sons of Liberty, and they disguised themselves.
As Native Americans, right? That's the famous image.
That's the image. They boarded 3 British ships, the Dartmouth, Eleanor, and the Beaver, full of tea from the East India Company.
Yes.
And then they just started throwing it overboard, chest after chest, 342 chests of tea.
Wow. How much tea is that?
It's estimated around 92,000 pounds. I mean, think about that. Worth maybe close to $1 million in today's money. Just dumped into the harbor.
That's a serious statement. But okay, let's connect this back. You mentioned the Tea Act, but the anger ran deeper than just that one tax, didn't it?
Oh, absolutely. The Tea Act itself was a big problem because it gave the British East India Company a monopoly. They could sell tea cheaper than colonial merchants, basically driving them out of business.
So it hit local businesses hard.
Directly. Then you had the bigger picture. Political control. Britain was making decisions for the colonies without their consent.
Decisions made an ocean away.
Right. And underpinning it all was that core grievance. Taxation without representation. No voice in Parliament means no legitimate taxation. That was the principle.
So they dump all this tea, a huge act of defiance. How did Britain respond?
Oh, the response was harsh. Swift and severe. They passed a series of laws the colonists called the Intolerable Acts.
Intolerable acts? What do they do?
Well, for one, they shut down Boston Harbor completely until the tea was paid for. That crippled the city's economy. They also stripped away a lot of Massachusetts self-government, giving more power to the royal governor. Punitive measures designed to make an example.
But that kind of backfired, didn't it?
It backfired spectacularly. Instead of isolating Massachusetts and crushing dissent, these acts actually united the colonies.
How so?
They saw it as an attack on all of them. If Britain could do this to Massachusetts, they could do it anywhere. So it galvanized them, pushed them together.
And led directly to?
Directly fueled the flames of the American Revolution, which started just a couple of years later, 1775. And that, of course, led to the Declaration of Independence in 1776.
It's amazing how one event could trigger such a massive chain reaction. So thinking about it today, why does the Boston Tea Party still matter? What's its legacy?
Well, it's become this enduring symbol, hasn't it? A symbol of democracy, freedom, the right to protest against what you see as unfair.
A challenge to authority.
A huge challenge to colonial power. It represents that moment when people stand up for their principles, even at great risk.
So wrapping this up, this deep dive really shows the Boston Tea Party wasn't just about tea. It was this incredibly courageous act of resistance that genuinely changed the course of history.
Absolutely. And maybe a final thought for you listening. Consider what this event tells us about courage. The courage needed to challenge powerful authorities, to fight for ideals like representation, self-determination, and maybe think about how those same struggles, that same courage, show up in movements for change today all around the world. What does it really take for people to collectively say, enough?